Yeah, and this topic is certainly capturing a massive amount of attention in the mainstream business media and even in the digital infrastructure media. Just before we hopped on to record this podcast, I saw a headline from one of the trade pubs. I'm thinking it was DCD, that I think it was 43% of the energy capacity globally is now within the control of the hyperscalers that the data center industry is going to be able to utilize. So yeah, it's very high. It's the opposite of distributed, right?
The opposite of distributed, and then we will, I'm sure, again, we'll probably talk about it later on, but this whole notion of the $1 trillion cluster, the idea of the cluster we need to build to birth artificial superintelligence, that's 100 gigawatts of power. That's 20% of the entire electricity generated in the US now that we need. We need 20% more of the entire US's electricity budget to then run the $1 trillion cluster. So, and it's really worth unpacking why decentralization is so good in this way, because when you decentralize, you then give yourself the optionality to generate and store energy on site, which has certainly in Europe has all sorts of very good benefits in terms of pricing and availability of electrons. So, for example, we have 6.5 terawatt hours of curtailed wind in the UK, which means we waste 750 megawatts of electricity all the time in the UK. So if you have to land that amount of lithium anywhere in one single place, that's a heck of a lot of lithium batteries to land. If you do it in a decentralized manner and you then allow yourself to put a lot more solar around a smaller data center, you can run more and more of the data center off grid, which means you put less stress on the grid, which means you get to grow AI clusters faster, essentially.
Less pushback from the community.
Exactly, less push, and that's really important because everyone now is in a race to the electrons. So if a data center says, well, I need 100 megawatts for a data center, and a district heating system, a very large energy center that's going to heat flats and offices, says I want 50 megawatts, then the 50 megawatts is going to, in the UK and the Europe at least, you're going to be well ahead of the queue, because you're perceived to be in kind of from a social good point of view and from an economic good, you're ahead of the data center. So in our case, when we build a data center with a district heating system, so when we build a 20 megawatt data center in a district heating system, that all we're doing is just getting ahead of the queue, really, in terms of power allocation.